Okay, cool.
Hi again, everyone. It's Betty Ann here, talking about philanthropic businesses, and I am super excited to introduce you to Steve Lowell. Steve has been an instrumental person in my life. I was a speaker way back when. I felt I was a little rusty and I needed to be brushed up a bit, and so I took Steve's High Impact Speakers Showcase, and it was a phenomenal experience. Steve has, he just has such incredible abilities to help bring the message out of people who have a message and then turn you into a world-class speaker. So in a very short time. So our focus for today, or actually before I talk about or ask you the specific questions, I also want to ask if there's anything else that you would like to add. Jane mentioned your combined business. So is there anything you want to add about what you and Jane do?
No, it sounds like she hit the nail on the head. You know, we work with a lot of foundations, associations, and now we're also working with student associations as well, which is becoming a big part of our business. So between the two of us, we're really able to generate enough interest and enough activity that we can start giving back to the community, which is something that's become very important to us. Yeah.
So speaking of it becoming very important to you, given the focus of the group is on philanthropic businesses, and I'm just so excited to be showcasing the businesses who have philanthropy as part of their core values and as part of their practices. So tell me how philanthropy fits into your business.
You know, it's interesting because it was never really a big part of my life. It just never really came to my awareness as I was doing business. And I saw lots of people being philanthropic, and I didn't really understand the importance of that. But then what happened is a couple things. I started seeing the effects of some of the philanthropic approaches that people were implementing. And then the other thing that was happening with me personally, and I think with Jane too, is, you know, we reached that business in our lives and in our, or that point in our lives and in our businesses where we start to think about something bigger than ourselves. We start to think about legacy. We start to think about what changes are we implementing and affecting in this world beyond the work that we do. And that, oddly enough, to my mind, started to become important to me for some reason. And so as the opportunities to be philanthropic sort of presented themselves, it was really exciting to be able to take part in that and see the changes that can be affected in our lives just by doing the work that we do and doing what we love to do most.
And do you find it starts magnifying over time? Because as you said, it was,
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because what happens is, you know, we get involved with a philanthropic organization one time and we think, wow, look at the work these people are doing. And then, of course, they refer us to somebody else and we see the work that they're doing, and then on it goes. And we can now look back and look at all the work that these great people are doing, and we know that we've had a part of that.
And and the impact that these organizations are having.
Yeah.
And I've certainly seen the work that you and Jane do with the foundations and the charitable organizations, and it's phenomenal. So I'm so glad that is your focus, because I'm all about the impact via and supporting charitable organizations. So what do you see as being your plans for the coming year? Anything in particular as it relates to philanthropy?
Well, you know, I kind of follow Jane's lead on most of these things, you know, because she's the visionary.
Okay.
Right? She's the visionary, and she's the real business expert. You know, she's the business guru, so I sort of follow her. We make our plans together, and we have our visions together, and we have a pretty good idea of where we're going to go. But I sort of follow her lead on things, but I know we're focused in a couple of areas, and I think Jane mentioned these. You know, we're doing a lot of work with foundations, and historically we've been working with hospital foundations, and there have been others in the city that we've been working with, but we're expanding geographically. So most of our work in this past year has been here in Ottawa, and some in Kingston, you know, but we're expanding geographically beyond into Toronto and even into Alberta and other parts of the country. So that's a big part of our plan for the year.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And if I may, as the new president of the Canadian Association of Professional Speakers Canada, and I'm a new member, I was thrilled to see how much focus there was on philanthropy and on giving. So would you care to add anything to my comments about that and about CAPS?
Sure. Yeah, CAPS has a whole philanthropic arm to it called the CAPS Foundation, and part of that is a CAPS peer support program. So this is a whole side of CAPS that is specifically designed to help speakers in our industry, because, you know, professional speakers sometimes live a pretty difficult life. We're on the road a lot. A lot of us are alone a lot. We're away from our families. I'm fortunate I don't have that situation as much anymore, but a lot do. And they spend a lot of time on the road, a lot of time traveling, a lot of time away from their families. And sometimes, you know, like any other business, it can, you know, there's ups and downs, right? And so sometimes we hit hard times, not just financially and from a business perspective, but sometimes emotionally and from a mental health perspective. And, speakers are subject to this. So this whole CAPS Foundation piece is to make sure that the members of our association have some sort of a financial backdrop that they can fall back on if they hit, a bump in the road. And the peer support program is there for the mental health and emotional health component. So that piece of CAPS is very philanthropic. Now, that part of our organization has just become its own entity. So up until now it was part of CAPS, but now it's separate. It's its own entity, and now we're going through the process of being a more general philanthropic organization. So CAPS is looking bigger into the community, and how can we help the community? How can we support the community? How can we contribute to the community in a philanthropic way? Yeah, so it's a big part of our vision. Yeah.
And you know something, Steve, when I experienced the CAPS convention in December in Ottawa, I'm a member of 4 different professional associations, and I was so touched by the people who got up on the stage to speak to how CAPS Cares has supported them. And I think that the CAPS Association, Speakers Association, is really leading the way when it comes to philanthropy and supporting their members and all of that. So, and as I said, it's because I belong to 4 different associations. So you're quite a shining example, and I hope to take those ideas and lessons to the other associations that I'm involved with.
Well, that would be great, because anytime that we can expand the philanthropic mindset, everybody benefits.
Wonderful, wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think you've said it all.
We've said it all.
We've said it all.
Thanks, Steve.
My pleasure. Thanks for doing the work that you do. It's outstanding.
My pleasure. My pleasure.